The battlefield of Kareth Prime burned under a dying red sun. Smoke curled from shattered warships scattered across the blackened plains. The air tasted of ionized metal and something worse, fear. Not human fear. Something older. Something that belonged to the alien race, known as the Virex Dominion. Elias stood alone in the wreckage. His squad was gone. The transmission beacon crackled weakly on his shoulder, spitting static into his ear. "Captain, if you can hear this, retreat is authorized." He muted it. Retreat wasn't an option. Not anymore. Not after what he had seen. Not after what he had taken. In his right hand, wrapped in a torn strip of his uniform, was the blade. It was long, curved slightly, forged from a dark metal that seemed to drink in the light around it. Faint veins of blue energy pulsed beneath its surface, like a heartbeat. It was impossibly cold, yet somehow it burned. The moment Elias had pulled it from the corpse of the Virex warlord, something had changed. Not in the battlefield. In the enemy. They had stopped. Thousands of Virex warriors, towering, armored, inhuman, had frozen mid-charge. Then slowly they had backed away. Not from his weapon. From him. Elias hadn't understood then. He would soon. Hours later, the battlefield fell silent. The Virex army had withdrawn entirely. No pursuit. No bombardment. They simply left. And that terrified Elias more than any battle ever had. Middle. The blade whispered. Not in words. Not exactly. It was a pressure at the edge of his thoughts. A presence. Ancient. Watchful. Elias sat inside the wreck of a downed dropship, staring at it. "What are you?" he muttered. The blade didn't answer. But his mind filled with images. A throne. A battlefield drenched in alien blood. A figure, taller than any Virex, cloaked in shadow, holding this very blade as entire armies fell to their knees. Elias flinched and dropped it. The blade hit the metal floor with a sharp, echoing clang. Silence followed. Then, a tremor. Not from the ground. From the sky. Elias rushed outside. The horizon lit up as Virex ships descended, not in attack formation, but in a slow, deliberate arc. Massive carriers hovered above the plains, their hulls glowing with restrained power. They weren't here to fight. They were here for him. A single figure emerged from the nearest ship. Tall, armored, radiating authority. The Virex general. Elias tightened his grip on his sidearm. The general stopped several meters away. Then slowly, he knelt. Elias froze. Behind the general, thousands of Virex warriors dropped to one knee in perfect unison. The ground trembled with the weight of it. Elias' voice came out hoarse. "What the hell is this?" The general spoke, his voice deep and resonant, filtered through a translator field. "You carry the blade of Kareth." Elias glanced back at the weapon lying in the wreckage. "I found it." "You claimed it," the general corrected, "and survived." A pause. That has not happened in over 10,000 cycles. Elias felt a chill crawl up his spine. "I don't want it," he said. "Take it back." The general's head tilted slightly. "That is not possible." "Why not?" "Because it has chosen you." Elias laughed bitterly. "I didn't choose anything. I just picked it up." "And yet you live," the general said. "Others have tried. All died instantly." Elias looked at his hand. Unmarked. No burns. No scars. "Then explain this," he snapped. "Why me?" The general rose slowly. "Because you are either its master." A long pause. "Or its next god." The words hit harder than any weapon. Elias shook his head. "I'm neither." The general studied him carefully. "Then return the blade." Elias frowned. "What?" Return it to us, the general said. If you are not its master, you will not survive the act. Silence. The challenge hung in the air. Elias understood. This was a test, a gamble, and a threat. He walked back into the wreckage. The blade lay where he had dropped it, waiting. He hesitated, then picked it up again. The whispers returned, stronger this time. Images flooded his mind. War, conquest, domination. A legacy of destruction. Elias gritted his teeth. No, he muttered. I'm not you. The whispers faltered. For a moment, they recoiled. Elias stepped back outside. The entire Virex army watched. Thousands of eyes fixed on him, waiting. He approached the general. Then slowly, he extended the blade. I don't want your war, Elias said. Take it back. The general did not move. Do you understand what you are doing? He asked. Yeah, Elias replied. Ending this. The general's gaze hardened. Or beginning something far worse. Elias didn't flinch. Then we'll deal with that when it happens. A long silence. Then, the general reached out. His armored hand closed around the blade. Ending. The moment contact was made, the world screamed. A shock wave exploded outward, knocking Elias off his feet. The sky darkened. The blade ignited with blinding blue energy, its veins flaring like lightning. The general froze. His body locked in place. Then, he screamed. A sound of pure, unfiltered terror. The blade rejected him. Violently. Energy surged through his armor, cracking it apart as if it were glass. The ground beneath him split, fissures racing outward in jagged lines. Elias scrambled backward. What's happening? He shouted. No one answered. No one moved. The entire Virex army watched in horror. Their general, their leader, was being destroyed by his own sacred weapon. Then, suddenly, silence. The energy vanished. The blade fell from the general's hand. He collapsed to his knees, breathing heavily. Alive, but broken. Elias stared. What was that? The general looked up at him. For the first time, there was fear in his eyes. It has chosen, he said quietly. Elias' stomach tightened. Yeah, he said. Not you. The general shook his head slowly. No, a pause. It chose you again. The blade lifted from the ground. On its own. It hovered in the air between them, humming softly. Then it turned and flew straight into Elias' hand. The moment his fingers closed around it, the whispers returned. But they were different now. Quieter. Controlled. Listening. Elias felt its power surge through him, not overwhelming, not consuming, but waiting for direction. The Virex army reacted instantly. They bowed. All of them. Every soldier. Every ship. Even the broken general lowered his head. You are the bearer, he said. The rightful wielder of Kareth. Elias stared at them, then at the blade, then back at the endless army kneeling before him. This is insane, he muttered. The general spoke again. With that blade, you command us. Elias blinked. I what? Our laws are absolute, the general said. The bearer of the blade is supreme. Elias let out a disbelieving laugh. You're telling me I just accidentally became your ruler? Yes. Silence stretched. The weight of it settled over him. An alien army. A weapon of unimaginable power. And a choice. Elias looked down at the blade. He could feel its history, its hunger, its purpose. It had been used to conquer, to destroy, to rule through fear. He tightened his grip. No, he said quietly. The general looked up. No, he repeated. Elias shook his head. I'm not your ruler. The army stirred uneasily. You hold the blade, the general said. You cannot refuse. Watch me. Elias stepped forward. He raised the blade. For a moment, the army tensed, expecting a command, an order, a declaration of conquest. Instead, Elias drove the blade into the ground. Hard. The metal cracked beneath it. Energy flared. The ground trembled. Gasps rippled through the Virex ranks. The general's voice shook. What are you doing? Elias met his gaze. Ending this. The blade pulsed. Violently. As if resisting. Elias gritted his teeth. I'm not your weapon, he growled. And I'm not your god. The whispers rose again. Angry now. Demanding. Commanding. Elias shouted back. No. With a final surge of strength, he forced the blade deeper. The energy erupted. A column of blue light shot into the sky, piercing the clouds. The ground split. The air screamed. Then silence. The blade went dark. Its glow faded. Its power gone. Elias staggered back, breathing heavily. The army remained frozen. Stunned. The general rose slowly. You destroyed it. Elias nodded. Yeah. A pause. No more gods. The wind swept across the battlefield. For the first time it felt calm. The Virex army stood. Not in unison. Not in command. Individually. Uncertain. Free. The general looked at his soldiers. Then back at Elias. You have broken 10,000 cycles of law, he said. Elias shrugged. Seemed overdue. A long silence followed. Then the general did something unexpected. He bowed again, but this time not to the blade, to Elias. You are not our ruler, he said, but you are something greater. Elias raised an eyebrow. Yeah? What's that? The general's voice softened. Someone we no longer need to fear. Elias looked out over the army, at the ships, at the battlefield, at the future that suddenly felt unwritten. He let out a breath. Good, he said. Then he turned and began to walk away. Behind him, an alien army did not follow, did not kneel, did not attack. They simply watched, in silence, because for the first time in their history they did not know what came next, and neither did humanity. But for once, that wasn't a bad thing.